morning, everyone. My name is Morgan. I work at the Poplar White Station branch of the Memphis Public Library, and today I have something extra special planned. I'm excited to welcome all of you to Storytime Kitchen with Morgan the librarian and Cinnamon the monkey. Well, Cinnamon, I think it's gonna rain all day long, so we're not gonna be able to play outside like you wanted. I know you're disappointed, sweetheart, but you know what would make us feel better? If we read a book together. And then after that, how about we bake a cake? Yeah, what kind of book should we read? A book about cake. Oh, I have the perfect one. Let's go get a cup of tea and get ready to get cozy and read a good book. All right. Thunder Cake by Patricia Polacco. On sultry summer days at my grandma's farm in Michigan, the air gets damp and heavy. Storm clouds drift low over the fields. Birds fly close to the ground. The clouds glow for an instant with a sharp, crackling light, and then a roaring, low, tumbling sound of thunder makes the windows shudder in their panes. The sound used to scare me when I was little. I loved to go to Grandma's house. Babushka, as I used to call my grandma, had come from Russia years before, but I feared Michigan's summer storms. I feared the sound of thunder more than anything. I always hid under the bed when the storm moved near the farmhouse. This is the story of how my grandma, my babushka, helped me overcome my fear of thunderstorms. Grandma looked at the horizon, drew a deep breath, and said, "This is thunder cake baking weather, all right. Looks like a storm coming to me." "Child, you come out from under that bed. It's only thunder you're hearing," my grandma said. The air was hot, heavy, and damp. A loud clap of thunder shook the house, rattled the windows, and made me grab her close. "Steady, child," she cooed. "Unless you let go of me, we won't be able to make a thunder cake today." "Thunder cake?" I stammered as I hugged her even closer. "Don't pay attention to that old thunder, except to see how close the storm is getting. When you see the lightning, start counting, real slow. When you hear the thunder, stop counting. That number is how many miles away the storm is. Understand?" she asked. "We need to know how far away the storm is so we have time to make the cake and get it into the oven before the storm comes, or it won't be real thunder cake." Her eyes surveyed the black clouds way off in the distance. Then she strode into the kitchen. Her worn hands pulled a thick book from the shelf above the wood stove. "Let's find that recipe, child," she crowed as she lovingly fingered the grease-stained pages to a creased spot. "Here it is! Thunder cake!" She carefully penned the ingredients on a piece of notepaper. "Now let's gather all the things we'll need," she exclaimed as she scurried toward the back door. We were by the barn door when a huge bolt of lightning flashed. I started counting like Grandma told me to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then the thunder roared. 10 miles. It's 10 miles away," Grandma said as she looked at the sky. "About an hour away, I'd say. You'll have to hurry, child. Gather them eggs careful-like," she said. Eggs from mean old Nellie Peck Hen. I was scared. I knew she would try to peck me. "I'm here. She won't hurt you. Just get them eggs," Grandma said softly. The lightning flashed again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I counted. 9 miles, Grandma reminded me. Milk was next. Milk from old Kick Cow. As Grandma milked her, Kick Cow turned and looked mean right at me. I was scared. She looked so big. Zip went the lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I counted. Baroom went the thunder. 8 miles, child, Grandma croaked. Now we have to get chocolate and sugar and flour from the dry shed. I was scared as we walked down the path from the farmhouse through Tangleweed Woods to the dry shed. Suddenly the lightning split the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I counted. Boom, ba-boom, crashed the thunder. It scared me a lot, but I kept walking with Grandma. Another jagged edge of lightning flashed as I crept into the dry shed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I counted. Crackle, crackle, boom, kaboom, the thunder bellowed. It was dark and I was scared. I'm here, child, Grandma said softly from the doorway. Hurry now, we haven't got much time. We've got everything but the secret ingredient. 3 overripe tomatoes and some strawberries, Grandma whispered as she squinted at the list. I climbed up high on the trellis. The ground looked a long way down. I was scared. I'm here, child, she said. Her voice was steady and soft. You won't fall. I reached 3 luscious tomatoes while she picked strawberries. Lightning again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I counted. Kabang! Boom! The thunder growled. We hurried back to the house and the warm kitchen, and we measured the ingredients. I poured them into the mixing bowl while Grandma mixed. I churned butter for the frosting and melted chocolate. Finally, we poured the batter into the cake pans and put them into the oven together. Lightning lit the kitchen. I only counted to 3 and the thunder rumbled and crashed. 3 miles away, Grandma said, and the cake is in the oven. We made it! We'll have a real thunder cake. As we waited for the cake, Grandma looked out the window for a long time. Why, you aren't afraid of thunder. You're too brave, she said as she looked right at me. I'm not brave, Grandma, I said. I was under the bed, remember? But you got out from under it, she answered. And you got eggs from mean old Nellie Peckhen. You got milk from old Kick Cow. You went through Tangleweed Woods to the dry shed. You climbed the trellis in the barnyard. From where I sit, only a very brave person could have done all them things. I thought and thought as the storm rumbled closer. She was right. I was brave. Brave people can't be afraid of a sound, child, she said as we spread out the tablecloth and set the table. When we were done, we hurried into the kitchen to take the cake out of the oven. After the cake had cooled, we frosted it. Just then, the lightning flashed, and this time it lit the whole sky. Even before the last flash had faded, the thunder rolled, boomed, crashed, and baroomed just above us. The storm was here. Perfect, Grandma cooed. Just perfect. She beamed as she added the last strawberry to the glistening chocolate frosting on top of our thunder cake. As rain poured down on our roof, Grandma cut a wedge for each of us. She poured us steaming cups of tea from the samovar. When the thunder roared above us so hard it shook the windows and rattled the dishes in the cupboards, we just smiled and ate our thunder cake. From that time on, I never feared the voice of thunder again. And in the very back of the book, there's a recipe for thunder cake.
What a lovely story. Thank you for sharing that with me, Cinnamon. You know what? We have all the ingredients for a thunder cake in the kitchen right now. Are you ready to make a cake? Are you ready to make a cake? Come with us. Welcome to our kitchen, everyone. We have everything that we need here today to make a thunder cake. We have lots of ingredients, measuring cups, and measuring spoons, and mixing bowls, and most importantly, we have a rainy day. Now, neither Cinnamon nor myself are expert bakers, but what we do have is a lot of excitement for this process and a deep love of chocolate. So we'd love if you would join us and follow along and watch us on this adventure. Are you ready to get started, Cinnamon? Let's do it!
First, we need to measure 2.5 cups of flour. Cinnamon does a great job leveling off each cup to make sure we have exactly the right amount. We've made a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. We can clean up later. Next, we measure a 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. The measuring cup won't fit in the container, so Cinnamon uses a spoon to scoop it out. We will also need 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of salt. It's time to combine all the dry ingredients together in one bowl. Good job, Cinnamon. The recipe calls for a cup of shortening. My mom said it's okay to use butter. In the book, they do everything by hand, which is very impressive. But today, Cinnamon and I will use an electric mixer to beat the butter until it's very soft and creamy. Next, Cinnamon measures 1 3/4 cups of sugar. Then we beat it together with the butter. It's starting to look and smell pretty yummy, but this is not a cake batter yet. We still have a lot of work to do. Next, we add 3 eggs separated. That means we separate the whites, or the clear part, from the yolks, or the yellow part. I do not think I am very good at this, but I didn't get any little bits of shell in either bowl, so we're doing okay. Now we blend the yolks into the butter and sugar. We add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. It smells wonderful. In the book, the secret ingredient is tomato. No, Cinnamon, not a whole tomato. We add 1/3 cup of tomato puree. Very good, Cinnamon. Next, we need 1 cup of cold water. Cinnamon lets me do the pouring, but she watches closely to make sure I'm doing it right. Cinnamon makes sure that everything is mixed together really well. That is very important when making a thunder cake. Hey, whatever happened to those egg whites we separated so long ago? We need to beat those until they are stiff. You can do this by hand, but Cinnamon and I think it is easier with an electric mixer. Are they stiff yet, Cinnamon? Are they stiff now? Wonderful! Now we need to fold them into the creamy mixture. We are very careful. Finally, we can add the dry ingredients to the creamy mixture. Once they're mixed together, they turn into a beautiful chocolate cake batter. Once the batter is all mixed up, I add just a little sprinkle of cinnamon. This isn't part of the recipe. I'm just doing it in honor of a very special friend. Now we pour the batter into 2 round pans. And we put those pans in the oven. We bake our cakes at 350 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes. While the cakes are baking, we clean up. Then we have a dance break. At last, the cakes are ready to come out of the oven. And they are beautiful. Once the cakes are cool, you can add your favorite icing. Cinnamon and I chose a chocolate buttercream. I think Cinnamon might be wearing a little bit of the icing too. Is there anything else from the book that we forgot? How about strawberries to decorate the cake? They are going to look marvelous. This cake looks amazing. Time to cut into it. Bon appetit, Cinnamon!
Now the only thing we have left to do is enjoy our cake. So a little bit for Cinnamon and a little bit for me. Cinnamon, I think we did a pretty good job, don't you? Oh, don't eat the whole thing right away. Remember to use a fork. We're going to use our manners because we're on camera, okay? Well, I hope all of you at home are finding lots of fun ways to stay cozy. I hope you're reading a lot of good books and eating a lot of delicious food. Thank you for joining us and have a beautiful day.